Hello, this is Mer171. Today, I just wanted to give everybody my thoughts on what it's like carrying the Kimber Solo. I've carried it for almost a year now. I have a first run edition. So I've carried it around. I've carried it in my everyday life, out on the ranch, out in the city, just almost everywhere I go that I can carry a firearm. So I just wanted to give you my thoughts about it. First thing I have to say is it's very reliable. I've only had one malfunction in the hundreds of rounds I fired, and that was due to a hard primer from some Russian 9mm ammo. So I can't fault the gun for that. Fired all the other rounds perfect primer indent, except that one, and that's due to the hard primer. It's accurate. It's very easy to shoot. Very controllable recoil. Pretty ergonomic with the rounded edges. It's a pleasure to shoot as far as micro compacts go. And its proportions make it very pleasurable to carry. It's might be a little heavy for some because it's all metal frame, but to me it feels fine. The way I carry it, it doesn't really weigh too much on me. So all in all, it's great to carry, but it does have its downsides. First and foremost downside I have to mention is I'm not crazy about its finish. Its finish is not very tough. I put it in my pocket with keys before. That's from a key. Can you believe that? Just one key was sticking up, put it in there, and it kind of just slid across it like that. Which is really kind of annoying. And then this is when it was in my pocket. I sat on a metal chair. It wasn't a very hard metal chair. It wasn't particularly strong, but this corner, I mean, it just touched it slightly and it tore off some of the finish. Now, none of these are deep in the gun. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it could easily be refinished. You can't really feel it. But that's not something I think should have happened. I mean, you can see what I would consider normal wear. For example, on the safety here, it's got a little bit of a shiny spot where it rubs against the clothes and the holster. So, you know, that's what I would consider normal wear. Normal wear being up here where it rubs against the holster. So, that's what I consider normal wear and expected. But this, especially the key one, really, what is that? For a gun that they priced at around $700, they should put a touch better finish on it. But I mean, it's not going to hurt it. It's not going to rust there, I don't believe, or anything. It stays pretty oiled. It's. I mean, you know it's going to wear, but you just don't expect that much. You don't expect it to be that easy. Also, when the mag is 6+1 or 5 and 1 in the chamber, it gets a little stiff to remove. You got to really mash the mag release button on either side. It gets sticky. It works. It's fully functional. You can deal with it, but you really got to mash that button, the mag release button. You can't just slightly touch it. So that's sticky, but functional. Don't get me wrong. It's not particularly lagging or anything. Now, both of those aren't major. So, I mean, I wouldn't consider them to be really downsides on it or a reason not by the gun. I mean, it's a carry gun. It's going to get scuffed. There's no way around it. And mag release works. Very reliable. It's never messed up. It's just a little sticky. So, I mean, it's not anything major. It could be. I could repair it, but it's not really worth my trouble. So you can see how little it actually affects the function of the firearm. Now, other things to think about is, number one, if you're actually thinking about getting into a Kimber Solos, you got to look at the availability of Kimber Solos. They're a big in-demand item. At least at the time that this video was made, they're still a big in-demand item. Hard to find. You can find them on the internet. A lot of people are reselling them, but as far as gun shops go, a lot of them are already sold out on pre-order. So I mean, it's interesting to find if you're looking to find one. Second is I wish it came with night sights. I mean, I know they make night sights for it, Meprolite does, And I'm sure that one day they will come with night sights. But right now you got to buy the night sights separate, and they're about $100. Then you got to get them installed if you don't own a sight pusher, and most people don't. I do, but most people don't. So that's just kind of annoying. It would be nice if it came with the night sights on the gun. It's just a $70 markup, $70 to $90 markup, like most guns with night sights deal with. You know, another thing to think about is it's easy to maintain. It's very easy to maintain. The manual it comes with gives you an easy breakdown on how to break it down and clean it and so with it. But for those who do that, the manual is very serious about not oiling that striker. Don't put oil on it. I've seen people do that. Starts light striking because it doesn't have the room. It's a very polished piece of metal. It's very smooth, and if you add oil, it actually gets in the way of the striker coming out the front here. So don't do that. Follow the manual's instructions. It knows the gun. I gotta hand it to the manual. It's not a letdown. It does tell you exactly what you should do to clean and maintenance the Kimber Solo. You know, fourth, the proportions are great for concealment. I mean, it's very narrow, very ergonomic, does have a manual safety, which doesn't protrude too much. Like I said, it may be a little heavy for some, but as far as just carryability goes, very easy to carry, very easy to conceal. And it's reliable, so that works for me. I like reliable. I always like reliable, particularly in carry guns. There's no excuse to buy a carry gun that you can't trust, because the only gun that matters is the one that's with you. You know, kind of like Dance with the Girl You Brought. Just wind up in a world of trouble if you try to, you know, dance with a different girl or use a different gun you don't have with you. Last thing I would consider about buying one if I was just looking at one, it is an all-metal gun. It's not going to wear out like a polymer gun does very fast. Not that polymer guns wear out very fast. I mean, a few 100,000 rounds polymer gun can last. So, I mean, but being metal, the tolerances will stay intact. Aluminum and stainless steel are harder than polymer. So, that's a thing to consider. It is an all-metal gun. Which also makes it very durable. If you had to clunk something with it, pound something with it, I wouldn't unless it absolutely came down to it, but you could. But those are just things that I would think about if I was thinking about getting into a Kimber Solo. But I just wanted to bring y'all this video now that I've carried one, shot one, played with one, fired more than a couple hundred rounds, a few hundred rounds, easy, just playing around. And I just wanted to bring y'all this video and just say hey to anybody who was just looking into carry guns. And this is Mar171. Thank you for watching. I'm signing off. Please subscribe.